Welcome to our all-virtual fundraiser. My name is Mark Jr.
And I'm Matt, Mark's brother.
This is our first ever all-virtual event and our first ever live stream, so please go easy on us.
We're going to have a lot of fun today. We've got the agenda over on this side, and we've got some great stuff planned for you. There are a couple housekeeping things. We've got two main raffles going on today. The first one is a reverse raffle that actually closed at noon today, so we'll be announcing the winner later in the programming. We've also got basket raffles. There are no items to be bid on, so please ignore anything related to bidding. Just get your tickets in for the basket raffles. That will close at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll provide a couple of reminders to that later in the programming. And also, if you notice any pending charges on your account, those will be closed out at the end of the program today. So what we're going to do next is jump into the next piece of programming, some quick music intro from Eric McCloskey, Chicago-based singer-songwriter.
I will be king. You will be queen. Will nothing drive them away. We can beat them just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day. And you can be me. And I'll drink all the time, 'cause we're lovers, and that's a fact. Yes, we're lovers, and that is that. No, nothing will keep us together. We can steal time just for one day. We can be heroes forever and ever. What'd you say? I wish I could swim like dolphins, and dolphins can swim. But nothing will keep us together. We can be there forever and ever. We can be heroes just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day. What'd you say?
Thank you so much, Eric. We really appreciate it. And also thank you to our silver sponsors for helping us put on this event.
I knew I was going to get the giggles at some point. I had the opportunity the other day to sit down with some past grant recipients, and it was nice because I haven't seen these individuals in a few years probably. And we got the chance to talk about our accidents, how it was recovering afterwards, and then life as it is today.
I found it really helpful. I got to sit in, and as someone who hasn't been through a traumatic experience and has only experienced it through Mark's experience, I found it really inspiring, their resilience, the resilience of the other grant recipients, but also extremely eye-opening about the challenges that they face and a lot of the activities and things that folks who haven't experienced that may take for granted. So we'll go over to the Survivor Roundtable and share a little bit more of that conversation.
Check it out. one here is tell us a little bit about your background before your accident. Interests, hobbies, kind of like what you were doing at that time, just to like paint the picture of who Adam, Wayne, and Hanan were before those horrible days.
Is this going towards me or everybody?
It's going towards everyone, but if you want to start first, you can start, Adam.
I can start first.
Yeah.
No, I'm a fabricator. I'm a welder, and I like to ride motorcycles. Used to like to ride motorcycles. And that's how I lost my legs.
I know the whole detail.
And my daughter, she could tell you a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's hard to explain. I mean, it's been a long time and I've made a lot of progress. Mark helped me quite a bit. His foundation and everything, the van that we got. I'm still driving the van.
Good.
It has gone through us a lot.
It's had its use.
It's had its use.
Good.
We've been everywhere.
When I just asked the question, it's funny to think, the person that what I want you guys to answer is like pretty much a person that may not be here, because Adam, you don't ride motorcycles anymore. That's how you were hurt. I'm still Mark, how I've always been, but it's like the new normal. I mean, way different than how it was before.
Yeah. My prosthetics, I've had a lot of problems with them. I've had a lot of pains with the prosthetics. I don't know if I've got a heterotopic ossification called HO. It's a very difficult thing for my prosthetics anyway. I can walk in them, but it's very hard.
So most of the time you just don't wear prosthetics?
Yeah, a lot of the time I don't wear them. I don't know if it's the HO or if it's a nerve. On my right leg, I've got a lot of pain when I wear them. I've already had the HO ground down. So it's hard to, and I hate bugging the doctors and saying, hey, I need to come back. I need to come back. I need to come back. So,
what is HO, Adam?
it's a bone growth. It's if your bone is starting to grow back and it grows it could be grown the same way or a different way, but it pushes into your muscle.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam's legs are trying to grow back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like, that's pretty much what it is. Gosh, if it wasn't hard enough,
Yeah,
Hanan, do you want to tell us about?
sure. So before my injury, which was in February, this past February was 9 years, I worked at the county auditor's office and the recorder's auditor's office. I worked in appraisal and at the board of revision. And right before my accident, I was laid off because a new auditor came along, and of course that's just how it is. And I was going to school at Tri-C, and I had just went and got my real estate license. And the day of my accident, the broker insisted on going out for a few drinks to celebrate the occasion of passing my test. And unfortunately, I left early enough and was driving. It was icy, and I did have a few drinks. I mean, I've had many before that, and I was just fine, but that was the day, and had a car accident. And it was a life-changing event. I became paralyzed from the chest down. And like they say, one door closes, many other ones open.
Always.
And my
Always.
my spinal cord doctor insisted. He just thought I was very positive, and he always said, "Oh, you should volunteer, volunteer." And I refused to volunteer because it took 2 years to really get to even accept it, to even go outside and be seen in the wheelchair. You
Yeah.
know, just that mind. I think we are really hard on ourselves more. I don't think people even care. And we, I personally, that was my thing. I don't want to run into so and so and they're gonna think, oh, she's in the. But my main thing, I was very independent. I'm from a different country. I'm from Morocco. I didn't have family here. I have my brother and sister. They're busy doing their thing, but I traveled so much. That was my thing. I always loved traveling. I love, learning new cultures, new food, anything new. I love doing. And when I did become paralyzed, honestly, that was one of my main things I worried about. How am I going to go visit my family back home, or even go to, just for fun, go with my friends, go on a boat, little stuff like that. So, as I said, my doctor insisted that I volunteer, and I just didn't think that I was going to be a positive. How can I be a positive example when I don't feel 100% okay with it? And it took time. And I finally decided I will go. And I was referred to Metro Volunteer. Mark knows. I mean, I think everybody knows about it here, but I hope they do. So,
There's
and
a
that
lot
was
of
the
programs out there.
yeah, and that is an amazing program. And honestly, that is the first day I went to apply. It was that day when I met Mark first time. And as we're talking, I learned about his injury and his accident. And I'm thinking, he's so positive. I'm like, this guy is just like me. I mean, he really is so positive and so young. And he is an inspiration to me. He really is, just his attitude, everything about Mark. And he asked me, what is the thing I will miss most, or what are things that I was affected by so much with my accident?
Yeah.
And I told him about traveling was my main concern, because that's how you miss family back home. It's so many things that you feel as an immigrant. And those were the things that I really did to loosen up and have fun and not think about or be sad and he said, well, you can do that. You can still do that. I said, nah, it's not that easy. When you're in the wheelchair, you need so many adaptive equipments. And specifically, I explained to him exactly what I needed. And that's when he told me about his foundation. And he said,
Yeah.
well, why don't you just apply and see? Maybe you could be a recipient of a grant, and maybe who knows? And I was like, are you sure? Because that is very, very expensive. He's like, I really can't promise anything, but go ahead and do it. He gave me the info. I applied. I honestly never thought I would ever be able to travel because of it. It's not cheap to be handicapped or have a handicap. I hate saying I'm a
No,
handicap.
never.
It's so expensive. I don't know.
Yes.
They make it really hard, and I'm very fortunate. I don't want to complain or sound like I'm very fortunate compared to so many other people that I see, but there are things that really are out of there's no way I could have afford it, and this equipment
they're
specifically costs thousands of dollars,
they're
a
out of
lot.
reach.
And yeah. And sure enough, a few months later, I get a phone call, and hey, you were a recipient of the grant, and you're gonna get your traveling chair that has the commode, the shower chair. It's basically everything that I need to
Yes.
be able to travel. And I couldn't believe it. And I'm just like, okay, these are proofs that even though horrible, traumatic things happen, God is always good, and God always put good people on my path. I'm very lucky, and Mark's and his family and his foundation is certainly one of them. And I'll forever be indebted. And I just love him, and I love his family. I'm happy to see him happy. And I'm happy when I hear there are things offer to other people, and it's just unbelievable. So it really helps having great people around. Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
absolutely.
Speaking of great people, that brings us to Wayne. Wayne, just tell
Ye-
us a little bit about yourself before your accident.
Well, that's a perfect segue right there. I tell you,
That was really good.
that's like, oh man, right there, I'm done. Just like, yeah, no, everybody have a good night.
No.
Uh, no, like Adam, an affection for motorcycles, which I always jokingly say turns out they're dangerous. Nobody ever told me.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, the dreaded left turn in front of, and
Oh yeah, straight away even.
it's like, it's darkly funny, but whenever I run into somebody who's missing their left leg, you're like, oh, left turn in front of you. Like, yep, that was pretty much it.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was 2007. Took me a moment, the end of 2007. So it's been a few years now. But yeah, that took it was
That was for
um,
your accident.
pardon me.
That was for your accident.
Correct. Yeah, 2007.
Yeah,
It's been a while now. So yeah, and it sometimes I get tempted. My wife sent me a picture the other day, I think just to torture me. If I tried to buy it, she would disown me. But of a
Yeah.
beautiful 1969 Triumph motorcycle. And I'm like, oh, I could surely still do it because evidently I'm a
Do it
slow
again.
learner. So I was like,
Yep.
well, we'll just not do that. Maybe I'll ride the one out front of a grocery store or some quarter. But yeah, but yeah, so that's what did it in 2007. And my wife was with me, and she was injured, and I tried to bring it up often because mine was much more visible in losing the leg, but she was injured far more seriously and many ways, but we're still here, and so that's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing. Um, yeah, and we got a helicopter ride. I won't say it was free to Metro Health after the accident, and we spent some time there, and then over to Prentice Rehab Center, and some time there, and they took care of us so well. That's what made me want to volunteer back at Metro for the same thing, and yeah, it's been a while, but we keep improving, keep getting better, and the thing I always jokingly say is that my prosthetics the only part of me that gets better every couple years. The rest of me pretty well goes to hell, but that part keeps improving. So God bless.
Hey everyone, quick interruption. We wanted to make a quick announcement. The basket raffle and the 50/50 will close at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't participated yet, please make sure to go over and participate in the basket or the 50/50 raffle.
Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, please go to the GiveSmart platform by following the link below. It's so hard to point at these things. All right, now back to the rest of the Survivor Roundtable. Some of you have said it already, but and I know we're never going to be happy where we're at because we know what life was before our accidents. But how long did it take each of you to get to a place where you were, functioning on your own, where you felt okay with it? I know personally, kind of like what Hanan said, there was a point where I was able to be pretty independent, but I still didn't want to do certain things, like go out, in a wheelchair or in a place where I may need some help. But yeah, I'd probably say 2.5 years after my accident, I was in a place where I felt comfortable enough to do a lot of stuff on my own. And I think, or a year and a half, and I was still using a cane at that point. But now I look back, I'm like, oh man, yeah, it was so much better than I thought it was going to be going through that entire thing. And I'm like, man, I really held myself back in a lot of areas. But yeah, we can start back with you, Adam. How long did it take you before you were functioning on your own?
I still use the chair. I've got I can walk in the legs, but I've got a big problem with my I don't know if it's HO, the heterotopic ossification. When my right leg, I've got a lot of pain when I'm in it after an hour, and it just, I mean, it hurts like crap. After an hour, it's just like very painful, and then I get really winded. I mean, just like taking
You mean wounded?
winded.
What is
When
wounded?
when I take like maybe 50 feet to 100 feet, I get really winded. But I mean, they're coming along. It's been a while, yes, but
Yeah, always it's a lifelong challenge.
yes,
Living with
I mean, I can
injuries.
walk in them and everything, but it's always a challenge.
Yeah, what about you, Hanan?
From my end, I was always independent, and I thought and made a decision at the hospital that I was not going to live with anyone. I wanted to continue to live by myself. I was very fortunate with volunteering at Metro. It's not only volunteering, but in that office, it's a lot of help that is offered to you, just information. I mean, it's not everybody's lucky to have all the information that you need to live a good life, or but having people around you that are willing to give you just information I mean, let alone help you with things that you need is just beyond. I mean, it's just, I'm so grateful, but I live on my own, and I just try to separate because I have the handicap. My mind is still the same. I'm still the same, Hanan, and I still want to do the same things. And then my body is in so much pain, and it let me know, like, no, you can't. I mean, I live with,
You're an inspiration.
oh, thank you.
You are. I mean, you are on your own, and you're doing all this.
Well, I mean, I have aides, luckily that come and help me, but I
Yeah.
do drive and I get out every day. Like
Good.
today, I went out, I got dressed, took a shower, got out, and I'm gonna do this, and this. And as soon as
Yeah.
I left the parking lot, my pain, because the rain is coming,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
when the weather's bad, the pain is like,
yes.
I'm sure you all can relate.
Yes.
And instantly I knew that my plans were not gonna go as planned. And I literally went and run a couple errands for my parents and drove right back. And my mom's like, what are you doing here? It's not working. And that is the thing I really had to learn, is not go against what's happening. Like, don't
Yeah.
resist what's happening, because whatever, you can't control it. So
You still get the same pain? I get pain when it rains.
oh, I
I
get
mean,
it 2 days ahead of time. I don't know why I have to
yes.
get it 2 days ahead of time, but I do
Yes,
get it.
I do too.
Like, I don't mind it at this point, but can we just wait until it
Oh,
starts raining? Then I get it, and then we can get it.
It wakes me up at night. I'm jumping like, ow.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we can practically be some help to people who do,
The weather people.
you know, weather. But you know, I mean,
Yeah.
but you just have, I mean, and that's what, you know, a lot of things I have to adjust, like the way I clean. It's not the way my aides clean, the way,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, okay, you just have to, you know, my mom would come over and be like, well, your windows need to be done, and I'm like, yeah, what's important is me in this situation. It's not the windows
Oh,
are
that's
not
good.
this, you know. So I realized, and it took work. It took some
Oh yeah.
talking to a lot of people,
Yep.
some gurus, some, you know, some very positive, almost monk-like,
Yep.
to, you know.
Yep.
And then the one thing I really have to say is I was never a religious person, but I really got close to faith. And you just
Yes.
have to dig in so deep and
Yep.
and find that place where you cannot be, because you really cannot go there. You simply cannot go to where you were before, or that thought was where I was before, where I did before. I just never think like that. So, and I'm grateful. So I'm very, very grateful. Yeah.
Good.
I think I got gypped. My amputations didn't come with weather predicting.
Oh,
Man,
You didn't
I
get Dick
get-
Goddard-itis. Yeah.
I get severe pains with my man.
Oh,
I hurt.
yeah. Yeah.
So Wayne, how about you? I know you had the, like a compound type of thing there with your wife also being injured, but how long did it take you to get to where you were functioning on your own? Actually, Wayne, did you have any upper body injuries, or was it just the leg?
No, that was well, it broke my arm in a few places, but it was pretty much the leg was all but severed below the knee, but they had to go above the knee to get rid of the oil and road matter, and the broken arm. But other than that, so that's why when the people always, were you wearing a helmet? Like, yeah, I don't have a leg helmet, so it wouldn't have mattered. So it's, but yeah, no. So and again, if you ask my wife now, she'd say I wasn't functioning before the accident. So it was mercifully it was pretty quickly. The accident was in September, and going through Metro Health and rehab and all of that, and then I think I started getting fitted like in maybe January for a prosthesis, and mercifully being one leg. So I was back pretty quickly. I was attending University of Akron at the time. I missed the semester. It just started when the accident happened, but I was back the next semester, and I just went to class with a walker because I couldn't quite maneuver. I hadn't learned the prosthesis yet, but I so wanted to get back to whatever the devil was going to pass for normal. So it was using my walker to get to class and that sort of thing. And it's funny because at the time it was like, man, that's all I want to do. And now I think I would be like, I'm not going to class in a walker. How embarrassing. But it's funny how your perspective can go either direction. At the time it was just get me moving forward, and now I think like, I don't know that I have the strength I did then. It's funny how that can, it was just a long way around there, sort of a family circus cartoon going every which way. But yeah, pretty well. It was relatively a short time before starting to try and figure like, okay, what is normal at this point, and adjusting, that was an awful lot of it.
I think one time I was volunteering with Wayne, we said we were going to write a book because there's so many like hidden tips and tricks to like, your disability. Like, I mean, obviously, Hanan, you don't have to worry about this because you don't have rubber feet, but putting on a shoe is ridiculously hard. No one ever tells you exactly how to put on a shoe. And one guy we were with, I think his name was Dennis, was saying how hard it was to put a shoe on his foot. And we're like, well, why don't you have a sock on? And he's like, why would I need a sock? It's not a real foot. Like, it really helps putting on a shoe if you have a sock to slide over. And he's sitting there, he's like, I never thought of that.
And it's really little things like that make huge difference. It's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Well, you can always write the book.
Yeah. So besides the book, Wayne, what did you wish you had during your hospital stay or rehab?
I think the nurses were kind. I got extra ice cream, so that was covered.
Oh yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, it's like, oh sweet. It was probably what I was supposed to get, but they made it seem like they were on the sly, so I'd feel better. But yeah, no, in 2007 at least, information. I just, to go from very few fortunate souls or people entering the medical field have any idea what happens. Like, oh, you lost a leg. Like, oh, well, I guess I get fitted for a prosthesis. They'll make a test socket, then they'll do this. Like, that's gibberish if you until you're there. And so I was like, not knowing what would happen, what was next. I remember asking, you know, do I walk again? What happens? And the doctor was just like, oh yeah, you get a prosthesis. I'm like, I wish somebody would have told me like 2 weeks earlier, because I've been trying to figure life out. And so it really was information. And I think there's an assumption that people know as much as others do. And most of us don't. And until we have to know that. And then it's like, I need a crash course, no pun, right now. You know, I need information. And that learning curve was a steep one, to go from zero knowledge to what do I do? You know, and to me, that was, once I started feeling comfortable enough to ask questions. And Adam, you were saying this, you don't want to bother doctors. You just, most of us, I think, are deferential to authority. We're like, they know more than me, I'll be quiet. And so
Yeah.
it's like, there's a reality of like, I don't understand. What do I do? What happens? What, you know, and that was kind of the main reason I did want to volunteer at Metro, was so if somebody had a question, I could at least be like, oh no, that's, you know, ballpark. I mean, you know, rough ideas, but let you know, like, no, they can get you up and going. But it was a not knowing that and being afraid to ask, and not just deferential, but afraid of the answer. You know,
See, and
so if
that's
it,
This is going good. Great. I'm just going to ask one more question, and then we can wrap it up. And you know, this one's a good one, because I think about this all the time, being a volunteer, going in hospital rooms. What piece of advice would you give yourself if you could go back, right when you were beginning the journey of your recovery?
Push harder, but I'm always pushing harder.
Not too hard.
I know. That's hard to answer. I mean, you always got to push hard, but I mean, stay positive, and yeah, that one's a hard to answer. I mean, I'm always pushing positive, and what do you think?
What about you, Hanan?
I think I was so hard on myself on how I'm gonna look, how others are gonna perceive the wheelchair. And I would, if I can go back, I would tell my old self, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. This is just you and you alone. And also just enjoy, don't worry about the past, and don't worry too much about the future, because I am in no control. And enjoy every moment, because it's so easy to dwell on even just the pain, just my pain. I could be so it can easily make me miserable, but I just know not to, you know, it's gonna get better. Like, just adjust my thinking, the process of my thoughts, and really that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be absolutely okay, because God knows something I have no idea about. So, and I think we're here for a reason. So, because I'm sure, like Mark's injury is such a freak injury. Like, who was this? I mean, just we're alive for a reason, and I really do believe that. And hopefully, we can make the best of it. Yeah.
Wayne, piece of advice that you give yourself?
that one, I was glad you fed that question to me earlier, because I'm like, that's a tough one. Of all the tests in the world, but no, that one, the more I thought about it, and be being more honest with myself than the Zoom here, trying to think of what would I have done. And I think I would have liked to have told myself some of the things we talked about, ask questions. Um, Prosthesis isn't supposed to hurt. These sort of things that I just took like, well, those are givens, and they weren't. I think it would be reaching back to that handsome, thinner young Wayne would be just to not lose the impetus or the drive I had then, because I can feel it ebb and flow, and like when it first happened, I'm like, oh man, this is, I'm gonna get back up. Like I said, I'm going to Home Depot, jumping, figuring how to transfer to the wheelchair, going, getting what I need, asking people for help, coming home, doing things, and realize like I'm not staying in my house. And so much of that drive has kind of receded over the years, I guess, where on the one hand it's wonderful, on the other I've become comfortable, and not always in the best way. I guess we could say, instead of comfortable, maybe lazy might be a term that describes it better, where it's like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, or no big deal, don't worry. Whereas when the accident and finally getting to go home and spending time and seeing, since my family's all out on the West Coast, getting to see them, um, it was like the drive was huge in me. Now it kind of is a lot less, and that's something I would like to take my younger self and by the shoulders and shake, and say, just try and keep that a little bit stronger. So that's probably one thing I would like to impart upon an impressionable young me.
Is everybody still happy?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Definitely, gotta stay happy.
As we always say, this side of the dirt, I'm doing well. So that's
Man, I know it. Look at these girls.
right there, right there.
Hey everyone, I hope you found the stories of our former grant recipients and even Mark as inspiring and as insightful as I did. I think we probably owe Wayne a little bit of a patent on the leg helmet, which I thought was a great addition. But one thing I took away from that was, looking back even in Wayne's example, not losing the drive of recovery, which really segues really well into the next piece of what we want to talk about, a project we've been working on to help reduce the challenges felt by individuals. So if you're thinking about giving, give now. There's an opportunity. You've heard a couple stories from three families we've been able to help. That's just a small sample size of who we have helped and who we're going to help. This next project is one that I'm really excited to share with you all, and I hope you find it as exciting as I do.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this next part because it's something I've been having to keep inside on the down low for very long. We've been developing it over the last 6 years, and it's to address the needs of family and people going through traumatic injuries. The hospital does good work, rehab does good work training them for the life ahead, but there's a gap there, and we're trying to address that with this project.
So hopefully you guys all enjoy the Kalina house.
My name is Mark Kalina Jr. On October 12, 2012, I was involved in a train pedestrian accident that took both of my legs and a pinky. I am lucky to be here. Having gone through a hospital stay, inpatient rehab, outpatient rehab, my family realized the amount of support an individual needs to successfully get back to their new normal. That's why we created the Mark Kalina Jr. Foundation. We had no idea this world of rehabilitation and recovery until we were in the middle of it. I knew I wasn't the first person to ever lose my legs, but I felt so alone in that journey. But having been in that place and meeting all the people I did, I realized that it's so much bigger than I ever thought. There are hundreds of thousands of people that have experienced something similar to what I went through. There are struggles with doing daily activities, things that I never ever thought I would have to think about again, things I took for granted, things that I thought were so easy, came so naturally that now I had to really think through how I was going to do now that I had a permanent disability. I had to rely on my family for almost everything at the beginning. I moved into my mom's living room because the apartment I was at had a staircase. Luckily, my mom was a nurse. She helped me with my dressing changes, my medications, issues I had with sleeping and pain. I had family that was able to provide me the supports I needed to get through every day, my recovery. They helped me with my doctor's appointments, going to rehab appointments. They provided support when I was learning how to drive using hand controls. Every step of the way, I had great support. My family and I, being right there for each other, realized that if we weren't there together, doing this together, I would have not been as successful in my recovery. We thought about all the other people who have experienced traumatic injuries. They're not something you plan for. And what if they had to do that without the support that I had? I met hundreds of patients who went through something similar. Anything from car accidents to gunshot wounds. I'd visit them in their rooms, and each time I'd go through the door, I felt like I was seeing myself in that hospital bed. The medical staff does a really great job of making sure that you live and getting you out of the hospital, but there's a lot that happens after that discharge. We wanted to fill in the gaps so no one would fall through the cracks. We didn't want anyone that didn't have the support network to suffer. We wanted everyone to have a successful recovery, get back to their new normal, and have a happy and successful life. Because each time I went into those rooms and I saw myself lying in that bed, I wanted to do all that I could and all that was possible to get them back to where they wanted to be. That's what this housing project can do. We want to provide them with the support they need, bring the services to them to recover, and then build a community around them that they can rely on even after they leave our facility. We want to promote success, recovery, and rehabilitation in its entirety, from the moment they were injured to when they say they're done.
After taking into account, all of Mark's experiences after he left the hospital, really when a lot of the challenges started to regain his independence, we took everything, that he's learned through that experience and used that to develop the concept around the Kalina House. As we look to develop the program for the Kalina House, we really drew on a lot of Mark's experiences. Some of the things that happen after you leave the hospital, while you're trying to regain your independence, just thinking, if you've lost a limb, a leg, or an arm, how do you load the dishwasher? How do you get to the bedroom? How do you get yourself on the bed? How do you take a bath? How do you shower? How do you reach the plates at the top of the shelf in the cabinets? Some of these things become really challenging for you. So we've thought through many different things, and even if you have an impact to your mobility, or maybe your job required you to do physical work, that changes a lot of the things that you can do going forward. So when we looked at the program and developing how we're going to support folks after they leave the hospital to reclaim their independence, our goal was to co-locate resources, whether that be rehabilitation resources, transportation resources to help them get to and from their hospital appointments, or even social work, workforce development, helping them find new jobs. When you go home, there's a lot of questions that you have, and the answers aren't easy to find. And we want to create an environment that helps you answer those questions effectively so folks can reclaim their independence much sooner.
Each and every day, there are 10 to 15 people in this area alone that are involved in traumatic injuries. So if you can imagine nationwide the vast need that's required out there, that's what our foundation is. When Mark first came home from the hospital, as his uncle, I was worried about everything. About the medical care that he needed, how he's going to get there, what's he going to be like 6 months from now, a year from now, what's he going to do, what's he going to be able to do. I had no idea. And that was overwhelming to try to comprehend what he was going through. Imagine, to be honest with you, what it would be like to go without that kind of support. And what I've come to realize is through the foundation is that there are so many that don't have that. And what we're trying to do is put together things that will provide that missing link of somebody being able to adjust to their new normal life.
You can't help but be inspired by a young fella that his life changes in the blink of an eye. But he wants to help others. Mark is related to my neighbor who I've known for a long time. And I've been in the real estate business a long time. And so Kurt came to see me and he said, look, here's what happened. And So I said, tell me more. And I met Mark. And here's a kid that he had a nurturing family. And he could have spent his time putting his life back together. But what he did is he decided he wanted to spend his time helping others. How do you not sign on for that? So I spent some time with them, tried to understand what they were in need of, and then I did what I do. I tore the project apart, put it back together again. I remember telling Kurt, I said, I got good news and bad news. He said, what's the good news? He says, I think we can get this built. He says, what's the bad news? It's going to be a very bumpy ride. We stuck with it. I did a lot of touring of property with Matt, the Kalinas, and we looked at a lot of real estate. And actually, the project that we ended up settling on, and that's in our plan, was Matt and I went to see a property. The architect said, how about that one over there? And we ended up getting the one across the street. And so sometimes you're just drawn to an area that makes sense. That was true in this case. We had plans drawn up, and we started putting together budgets, and we started bouncing ideas off one another. And eventually we came up with what I believe is a very good program, very workable program. The facility works. It's in a good location. The city's been cooperative and contributing land from the land bank. We've gotten financing commitment from an organization that wants to be involved in impactful real estate. And they clearly view this as impactful real estate. These guys stumbled on a need, a very real need, and I had the easy part. Real estate's easy. Building buildings is easy. Making it work. Making it do what Mark wanted, which was to feel like home. That's the hard part. So we're getting there.
There are people every day that are getting injured just like I was. The only difference is they may not have the support I did. They need our help. And the Kalina House can and will help them.
Okay. Well, I'm Matt Mumann. I'm the president of Sciota Properties, and just wanted to introduce myself and our organization as a whole, and how we came to meet, Mark and Matt Kalina, and just understand kind of what they were looking for. So our mission as a company is real estate with impact. Everything that we do as a company has impact, whether it's to providers that we work with. So we are one of the nation's largest, we're actually the largest owner of real estate for providers that offer developmental disability services. And so we work with operators, providers all across the country, and have close to 1,800 properties now in 40 states. So we work in substance abuse, we work in mental health, we do some senior housing, adult day services, and one of our largest growing markets is traumatic brain injury. And we first heard about the Kalina Foundation through our private equity company. And when I heard the story from our PE firm, I was really intrigued by it, and I went on the website for the Mark Kalina Jr. Foundation and watched the video of Mark's story, and it immediately hit me. I mean, it put a tear in my eye to watch it, and I watched it, probably 2 or 3 times back to back, and just a remarkable story of just perseverance. And I think what really drew me to Mark's story and the Mark Kalina Jr. Foundation as a whole was just the fact that his family really rallied around him. And I think when you hear the story, you immediately go to would I have had that same level of support? And when I think about myself and my family and just growing up and being a similar age to Mark, I don't know if I would have had that same level of support. And so it's a story that is just, it really draws you in. And I give Mark and his family all the credit in the world for just perseverance and sticking with things and just trying to overcome adversity and really to have developed the foundation to be what it is. And so where we really come into play is the Kalina House, and hearing the story, talking to Mark, to Matt, about what their vision is for the Kalina House, we immediately, recognized that we really wanted to be a part of this and to make it be something that could really grow and scale and be impactful to the people that would receive services within the Kalina House. And so, I think what was really exciting for us was just, when you look at the information, the data that is out there in terms of the need for this type of program, within the Metro Health system, there's over 2,000 patients per year that have lower extremity fractures, spinal cord injuries, amputations. That's data that, data doesn't lie, and there's a significant need out there. And when Sciota Properties, saw that information, we thought, well, there's not only something or an opportunity, I guess, in Northeast Ohio, but this is really a program that really is going to be needed probably everywhere in the US in terms of major markets. And so we saw it, again, really fitting into our mission, which is, again, real estate with impact, and just the ability to work with the foundation and Mark and really try to help him see his vision through for the foundation, the Kalina House, and really trying to touch, as many people out there to help them that were in a similar situation to what he was in and has had to overcome. And, the fact that, the Kalina Foundation is helping people now through grants, and, it's just something that we want to be a part of. And, I'm more than honored to, be videotaping this. It's unfortunate that I wasn't able to be there in person, or I guess on Zoom. I had to miss the event because my child has a sporting event, but it's something that I'm passionate about. We're excited that fundraising is occurring. We hope to work with Mark and Matt and the foundation as a whole, just to really see this through and be their real estate partner. To help develop, construct the Kalina House, and then really help them not only be to be the real estate partner, but also to just be a partner in general, to be able to bounce things off of and to work through, the first model. Prior to coming to Sciota Properties as the president, I have a 20+ year healthcare background. And so, healthcare is something that I'm passionate about. I'm able to do that every day through what Sciota Properties does in terms of just being a healthcare real estate provider. And so we don't only want to be the Kalina Foundation's real estate partner. We want to be a partner in general and help them to continue to grow and to try to find new sources, new avenues of funding to really make the program be as successful as possible and to grow it with them. And, again, we see this as real estate with impact, and, kudos to Mark and everything that he's had to go through. And, we hope to be a supporter and a partner of the Kalina House and the Mark Kalina Jr. Foundation for a long time. And everything that he's had to go through. And, we hope to be a supporter and a partner of the Kalina House and the Mark Kalina Jr. Foundation for a long time.
Bennett, or open up the thing.
Drop down.
Your computer.
All right.
Well, there it is. We almost made it the whole program without a single hiccup. But we're at the final 5 numbers of the reverse raffle. And the way your computer, Hugo. The way the reverse raffle works is we got to keep going because one of these last 5 wanted to keep going. So number 7, I'm sorry, but you are out. Number 2,
down to the final 3.
And we got to keep going because the the winner of the grand prize worth $2,500 is number 49.
Congratulations, number 49. Lots of exciting announcements coming out right now. So today, we're super excited to thank you all for coming to join us. We had a couple very exciting announcements there at the end where we highlighted the winner of the 2021 reverse raffle. We also highlighted a new project that we're working on. We're going to keep the GiveSmart platform open for a little while longer while we try to look for the folks that are feeling extra generous today. We announced a ton of things. We want to share this success with you all, and we also want to help fund the need that we have to help expand exactly the audience that we can support throughout this program. So while we figure out technically what we're trying to do here, we're hoping that we have like a screen behind us to show you where we are to our goal and thank some of our donors. And then also we're going to announce some of the raffle prize winners. So congratulations, number 49. While I'm sitting here, hopefully figuring out where we're at. While we deal with some of our technical challenges, I will go through. Oh, here we are. I think we're good. We're full on. We're going to go through and announce some of the folks that won some of our glorious prizes as soon as I can figure out where that list resides.
Whew. I mean, we almost made it the entire way without a single problem.
The last one, of course.
So here, the 50-50, the winner of the 50-50 raffle is Valerie Lumby. Congratulations.
Congrats, Valerie, Mrs. Lumby. Hopefully you use that money well.
The booze cooler, which is one of our most popular prizes.
Yeah, when we're doing this, when we're doing the reverse raffle in person, the booze cooler usually has the most fanfare around it. So winning it is a pleasure in and itself, but also it's one of the most highly regarded prizes that we have. And drum roll, please. It's going to
the Ramirez family.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Congratulations.
All right, then the Apple Watch. I got an Apple Watch too. I won it actually in a raffle myself.
Which raffle?
It was for a baseball fundraiser for someone in Amherst. Anyways, so I will let you do this one. The winner of the Apple Watch is
Melanie Panko. Congratulations. And also thank you. We've got some of the live donations and former donors that have donated to our fundraising efforts populating on the screen. Thanks, Dana Judy. Appreciate it.
And another big item is the Coach purse. It's the Coach satchel with the little one, the wallet, I think it's called. And
Mark is an aficionado when it comes to high class women purse wear.
And it comes with a matching scarf. That winner is Brian Roshan. Thank you so much and congratulations on your win.
And also, if anyone's feeling extra generous, the Kalina House is a huge undertaking for us. While we have lots of partners and folks we've been working with, from city officials to council persons and real estate developers to pull this together over the last 6 years, there's still a ton of work to be done. We wanted to use this event and this platform to educate you on all the things we've been doing behind the scenes, in addition to the individual grants that we provide. If you're feeling generous, you can text GIVE 250 to 76278, or even give 100 to 76278 to immediately donate $250 or $100. Or if you're feeling extra generous, feel free to go to mkjrraffle21.givesmart.com and give any number that feels comfortable to you. We've got a lot of way to go before we can make this project happen, but we know it's going to help hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Northeastern Ohio and beyond. So we appreciate all of your support. And hopefully you're feeling generous today. So thanks so much.
Yeah. I appreciate everyone joining us. I mean, it's an odd thing to be having a virtual-only fundraiser, although it went surprisingly well, except for the last 5 minutes.
This was a blast. I had a great time doing this. I love our in-person events, but I think we've gotten a lot more engagement from folks that maybe geographically couldn't make it to Northeastern Ohio.
Yeah, so some Pennsylvania, some Illinois.
Both of them.
Chicago area. We hope to be in person next year, but this platform will be something we're going to use in the future. I don't actually... Can you pull up the date for the next year?
No.
I think it's the first week of April. We are going to be hopefully in person. No other complications with this pandemic, because we do like seeing everyone. But the platform is going to be something we use going forward.
Yeah, and if you weren't someone who we actually called out the prize winner for, you will be notified via email or text message if you did win any of the other prizes we didn't highlight. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's an opportunity as well. The next year's event will be on April 9th. Our producer, which is Alex Hugel, if you have been to any of our in-person events, he's usually emceeing the prize giveaway, was trying to tell us that the next event will be in person on April 9th at Windows on the River in downtown Cleveland. So hopefully you guys can make it. If you can't make it in person, we're going to do this again in some fashion.
Yeah, not the live stream. Or maybe, I don't know.
Maybe we'll live stream like the announcements or something.
Yeah, but we also plan on having the cocktail hour in the aquarium in Cleveland. If you've ever been there, it's nice. And if you haven't, this is a good time to make it your first.
Yeah, walk through the aquarium, see some fish.
I should say that we've raised up quite a bit here while just talking. We're now at 60% of our $45,000 goal. Thank you everyone that has given.
We were not sure how this was going to go.
Yeah.
Before we were doing a little bit of the trial run, the case of the giggles that we got was uncontrollable. And I was like, okay, we're going to completely botch this whole thing. It went pretty well. And we're super grateful for the $27,000 that we've raised today. We had a big goal out there. We're going to have even bigger goals going forward. We're trying to expand the program and really redefine the way that we can support victims of traumatic injury, because throughout this experience and just meeting a lot of people, the need is much greater than we ever thought. And, and
it's not slowing down.
It's not slowing down. So we thank you all very much for your time. I don't know how much time we have left or what we want to continue on. I'll ask the producer to.
Yeah, we're at.
All right. I think we're just going to wrap up here. This was really helpful for you all to understand some of the things that we've been working on. It's been a new format for us.
Mm-hmm.
Mark has a bunch of software that he's now downloaded on his computer that hopefully...
A ton, so much. And, we've been practicing all day, and, I never thought that we'd be on a YouTube live stream doing this.
My notes have been disbanded, really didn't use them very much, but I think it went well. We appreciate it. The full video of all the programming, we did edit some of the videos and the content for time. So the Survivor Roundtable will be available in its full length on our YouTube channel. This live stream in its full length will be available on our YouTube channel. If there's anyone you want to share this with, we're working on something very big and very challenging that we're learning as we go. If there's anyone in your network that you think would benefit from knowing about what we're doing and may have interest in supporting us, we would love to connect with them. But from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for all of your support. And thanks to the crew that's here.
The one-man crew. In my back room. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. And, we'll see you next year. Thank you so much. Got it.
Is it over?
No.
Hit stop streaming. Well, maybe we got to keep going. Stop streaming.